Everybody, welcome to Bobby Builds It. Today we're doing one project but 4 different ways. We're going to start with this scrap piece of 1x4. We're going to do one style using the coping saw, one with a jigsaw, the third with the palm sander or trim router. And finally, we're going to use the big router table. Stick around. First thing we're going to do is rip this down so we have a piece that's 2 inches wide. Then we're going to cut 4 4-inch wide pieces, or 4-inch long, however you want to call it, at the miter saw. Unless you're new here, you've already seen me use the table saw and miter saw before, so we're going to skip that. And if you are new, just go watch some old stuff. I'll really appreciate it. Oh yeah, we're going to cut this piece down to 18 inches to start with. That gives us a little wiggle room, but doesn't waste all the rest of that scrap. Next, we're going to lay out for a hole we need to drill. And this is way easier to do when you're not trying to film anything. But pull over an inch to get in the middle. And then we're going to pull down 1.5 inches, or just 1/2 inch. Do that with 2 pieces. Using a 1/2 inch drill bit, drill a hole in each one of those 2. Next, we're going to mark a line right at the edge of our hole. Close as you can get. And then you're going to want to transfer the marks to this side, this edge. All right, it's coping saw time. I would love to have a camera operator right about now, but we're going to do the best we can here. And I did practice doing this one other time. I practiced with the coping saw and my pull saw, and my pull saw is just too flexible and it was very frustrating to use. So I decided to use the coping saw. You could probably do this with a handsaw. And just as best you can, follow down this line. We're going to go to right there at the middle of the circle. Come down this other side. Get the saw back out. That'll snap off, I think. Now, yeah, I got some cleanup to do. That's one way to get the notch we want. Next cut's going to be with the jigsaw. I added a line here to try to help me line up where the blade is going to stop and set up my stop block. I don't think you're going to be able to see it with how I'm going to record, but let's see what goes on. A little bit, hey, there you go. Next cut, here with the router. I've got my edge guide set up about 1 inch away from the middle of the bit. Oh, this is a 1/2 inch straight bit. I will be using the same bit on the router table to make this notch. And you can, as I knock the camera around, see the little notch right there. If my piece were wider, it would tell me where to stop. But it's not. I don't feel like setting up a stop block. We're just going to see how good we can do. Very satisfying how that stopped. Lastly, we're going to use the router table. I've got the fence set at 1 inch. That should be halfway. Stop block is at 3/4 of an inch from the back side of the bit here. Remember, we're going to cut all that way. You may have noticed we stopped a little sooner than planned. See the gap right there. This little chamfer on the fence caught me. What I probably should do the next time, kick this out a little bit, but still set this up the same way, and I wouldn't have that problem. When something stops on you like that, don't just sit there and force it and force it and force it. It's not moving, something is clearly wrong. Stop and figure it out. The culprit actually may have been all this buildup of sawdust. It was like caked over here. Knocked it down before I recorded it. And the dust collection really let me down here. But either way, whatever was causing it, it still holds true. If the cut's just not going, just stop. Don't force it. Be safe. All right, that's our 4 ways of cutting these notches. Here's the coping saw. I haven't sanded or done anything yet. So it's got some work that needs to be done. See, it needs to, almost a chip right there that needs to get sanded out. Here's the jigsaw. Again, a similar sanding, I think, will take care of what's going on here. The router, something kind of weird happened. I don't know if you could see it, but it's angled. I must have been holding the router a little bit wrong. And here's the router table. It was the easiest by far, but even here, I got a little bit of something I'd probably want to clean up with a sander. All that is practicing and getting better and better with the stuff that I have. For this next step, I went to the opposite end of the notch, came over 1 inch, down about 3/4 of an inch. And for the hardware I'm using, this bottle opener, it needs a 1 9/16 of an inch Forstner bit. Other hardware may need some different things. I got some from Rockler one time that wanted a 2-inch bit. And you want to go down just far enough so this sits pretty close to flush. Needs a little bit more. All right, and on second thought, you do this, come on down 1 inch instead of that 3/4. Now, we need a second hole that's actually big enough for a bottle cap to fit in and get pulled off. So I have a 1-inch Forstner bit. And this time we're going down deeper. To make sure we got room. You don't need to go all the way through. That'll do. See, we got tapers to these holes on the upside of the jig. I like to use one of these self-centering bits to drill my pilot holes with. I like to do the first one. After I make my first pilot hole, I'll go ahead and put the first screw in. At least I say I will. Then I'll come back and drill the second pilot hole. And finish her off. Now, this end is pretty self-explanatory, but you might be wondering just what in the heck is that notch for? Hold your phone up. Open your beer. And you can just watch your favorite YouTube videos. We can't on this phone because it's dead. All right, well there you have it. I didn't, go back and finish sanding and put any finish on these, running out of daylight. Wanted to go ahead and get this wrapped up. Let me know what you think about which method would you use, which you thought was easier or better. And let me know if you like videos showing that different ways to get to the same end result. I'll link the bottle opener hardware in the description, maybe the coping saw. If you saw my previous video about the market I did, you'll remember these didn't sell great, but they were, an icebreaker. People did talk to me about them. I think you add some level of personalization on it, be a great gift, big seller. That'll about wrap this one up. I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.